It's almost impossible to describe because it was considered, it was like a temple. It was a place you went to get saved. This was not just education. Because most of us, I grew up in a neighborhood, and pretty much ethnic neighborhood. You had the Jews over here, and you had down 2 blocks with Italian and Irish, so forth.
I mean, the whole city fundamentally was Italian-American, Irish-American, Jewish-American, and African-American.
Right. I was 18, I think, before I knew there was anybody else. But most of our parents were immigrants. Just on my block, there must have been 20, 30 young people around my age, give or take a year. Almost all of them were immigrants. Their parents were immigrants. They didn't have automobiles. They had very little. They came here without knowing the language, and they worked hard to make something of themselves, just to the degree they wanted their children to go to college, be a professional man, get an education, learn something. So I knew, I think from the day I was born, that I had to go to City College.
And there were no options.
Well, we couldn't afford private schools. That was out of the question. I probably wasn't smart enough to win a full academic scholarship. And City College was free.
And the Ivy League schools to which a lot of these kids go today, they just weren't taking these kids. I mean, there were
That's
quotas,
true.
discrimination.
That's true.
Forget it.
But City College was considered on a level academically with the Ivy League schools then. And I mean, basically, you knew that if you were going to get out, you had to keep your grades up, you had to take a placement test and make it in City College. If you talk about a meritocracy, that was the ultimate meritocracy. The ones who finished at the top, regardless of ethnic background, where your father came from, none of that mattered. You got in. And so you grew up knowing that this was the place that you had to get to in order to do something.
As a matter of fact, Stan, this was the way out for generations. And this school, City College, put out some of the greatest, the most renowned intellectuals in the country from the 1930s to the 1970s and 1980s.
Absolutely, Nobel Prize winners, Supreme Court justices. It was a distinguished university. It was, as I say, the ultimate meritocracy. Only the best academically who applied got in.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and a leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.